I was thinking about the MPC script in this video series, and I was thinking about something that I didn't include in this lot of videos, but I did put into the other videos. But then when I quickly had a look before I started recording, I noticed that I hadn't deleted this out of the MPC movement script. So if we scroll down to moving, we'll see what I'm talking about. Now, if you did the scripting review video and checked your script against mine, you would have seen this extra block in here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to comment this out, and then I'm going to explain what's going on there. Okay, so in our moving, we have a look direction that is previously calculated and passed into the function. Then we do a couple of ray casts, one from each shoulder, and then we check if that ray cast didn't hit a game object named terrain. Now if it didn't hit a game object that was named terrain, then we would steer the NPC around that obstacle. So what's this check here? If I load up the 3D scene and have the player over here somewhere, I have the NPC back here. So the NPC wants to travel to the player. Now you see there's a tree in the way. So if I hit play to reproduce this problem, as you can see, the NPC character has become stuck behind the tree. Now why is that? Well, the tree colliders are part of the terrain. Therefore, these tree colliders are named terrain. So if we go back here, we check our steering part is only going to work when the game object names collider is not terrain. So the first thing we're going to do is going to add a debug here. Okay, I'm going to check the velocity of the rigid body, so that'll return a vector 3. And then here I ask for the magnitude, but we're not going to worry about that, so I'm just going to bring all that back. So what we're going to do is we're going to check the velocity of the rigid body, and we're also going to check the square magnitude of the velocity of the rigid body. So if I save that out, now let's see what information we get when the NPC character collides with that tree. Okay, I'll pause it there. Tear off the console here and try and have a look. Okay, so the NPC character starts moving, the velocity increases, and then we've got the velocity being maintained there that we've set in our speed. As we're coming along, he's climbed up the hill. Okay, and then around about here, all of a sudden, the velocity drops, and you can see that in the square magnitude. So this is the location where you can see that the velocity has dropped. That means the NPC character has collided with the tree. So how can we fix that? Now if we look, the square magnitude velocity in this case is not really going greater than 0.52. 0.53, 0.54. Okay, so if I resume play, how high does that get? Okay, so it would be safe to assume the square magnitude of the velocity is not getting greater than 0.57. So this is where we're getting that information returned. So what have I done here? I remove comments so that code's come back in. So if we're noticing that the square magnitude of the velocity is not getting greater than 0.58, then it'd be safe to assume that the character is stuck. It's not moving. So what I've done here is we're doing a conditional. So we're going to ask if the rigid body's velocity squared magnitude, in this case I've put 1.75. I think I was getting different results in the other test there. I'm going to leave that number because it's a nice decent number. So if the raycasting has failed, and we drop down to here, and the velocity is really low, like he's not moving, then I'm going to check how low that is. If it's below this number, then I'm going to apply the same modification to the look direction vector as we did in the raycasts. So here I'm just turning it right. So there we modify the look direction if the NPC character is stuck, and then we go on to calculate the look rotation paired off the look direction as normal. So save that out. Now in exactly the same scene, where I've lined the NPC up to collide with that tree, now if we hit play and watch what's happening, see how he started to steer himself around? Now it's not the most elegant way to get around the tree, but he has made his way around that tree, whereas before he was definitely stuck. You saw that. So he will steer himself around a tree because the tree collider is named terrain. So before I pause that, so I'm just going to leave the moving function there. And if you just copied the scripts from my scripting review videos, then you would have seen this anyway. But that's to explain what's going on. Now that we've found our information from our debug, we can also comment that out. So that's just a little modification to steering around trees because the tree colliders are named terrain.